Oh, hey, Kel, how are you?
I finally get to answer this week. Normally Adam does. I'm grand. We've had quite a start to this recording. So
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I am not an IT specialist, and nothing that I do or say would ever give anybody the impression. And yet, my computer likes to challenge me
Yeah.
every week. Oh, let's not work. Oh, let's freeze it up. Oh, not responding. I've never wanted to punch an inanimate object more in my life.
I understand it. Yeah.
Weekly rage.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
love it now because it's working.
Fancy. Fancy.
And its camera is looking at me, so I'm trying to be nice.
I love it. I love it. I have big news, Sharon.
Big news.
Yeah.
What
It was
is it?
Janet's birthday yesterday as of our recording. So
Yeah.
57. How did that happen?
Wow. Every year we're surprised, but it
Yeah.
happens.
But she looks there was some video because she was at a party, like they had a party for her because she's on tour, as we know.
Yep.
And she honestly looked like she was 27. So good for her. Yeah. Happy birthday,
Incredible.
Miss Janet.
Go get him. Well, it should be no surprise that where we'll start the show today will please you greatly.
Okay.
Um, but I thought at least we should discuss the much anticipated Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue that features an 81-year-old on its cover. So the oldest model on that issue's cover. We'll talk about
Gives us
that.
hope. Hope, Sharon.
Oh, yeah, there's still time for us.
Yeah.
We'll also tell you how the Stallones, whoops,
Yeah.
might be following in the footsteps of the Kardashians and senior citizens in general.
Right.
And what else do we want to talk about? Hang on a second. My beloved computer is giving me sales. We've got trivia as usual, 90s rewind. And since we started on the Janet note and since the clock is ticking on someone on this show going to see Janet Jackson, her favorite performer of all time.
Yeah.
Cal, let's start there. So we know now that Janet's another year older and just obviously one better,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
she's killing it on this tour. And is Toronto the only Canadian date on this tour?
Yeah, as far as I know, unless something was added that I didn't see, because it's been pretty busy on the farm these days. But as far as I know, it is Toronto. Normally she would do Vancouver, but I don't think she's getting there this time around.
Well, she's covering a lot of territory, and the fact that I mean, Toronto's not that far from us, and I think selfishly, at least for you, you'll get to go and see that show.
Yeah, it's funny because a friend of mine was like, "You're driving 5 hours?" I'm like, "Yes."
That's the reality for where we are.
It's Janet. So, and I don't know if I told you in any of the previous shows we've recently done, but I recently found out that it's been since 2018 since I've seen her.
That's 5 years.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it crazy? Because it didn't, in a way, it seems like forever, and in a way, it seems like it was 2 weeks ago that I saw her. So,
Yeah,
um,
I
but
totally get that.
I think what is I saw her in concert in 2018, which would have been at the Performing Arts Center in Saratoga
I love
Springs.
it there.
So
Love it there.
amazing. And
Yep.
then, but I think what tripped me up is I did see her in 2019 when I went to her induction ceremony, and then I was fortunate to get to go to that, her party,
Yeah.
and that's where I was able to meet her. So I think it's technically been 5 years since a show, and 4 years since I saw her in person.
Okay, well, let's go back there for a second. When you met her,
Mhm.
your pal Janet,
Yeah.
do you remember what she said to you? Like, did you have more than one sentence exchange, or did she just sort of nod and go, mm-hmm? Was there something that she said to you that you were like, oh my God, it's Janet just talking to me?
It was like a 60 to 90 second encounter, if you will.
Wow.
So it was very quick, and it was very noisy because we were in a club celebrating her, and Janelle Monáe was around, and Little Kim.
Of
And
course.
I have my picture with Little Kim and Janelle Monáe and Jimmy Jam, which was great. So I just said, because I knew a million people were telling her, like, I love you so much, and like all that. And so I didn't really want to say that. I just said, it's really nice to meet you. I'm from Canada, and we really love you up in Canada, and we look forward to you coming, for a visit. And then she said something about, I think, Canadians, and then something like, just like, oh, that's great. Like, I really appreciate that, blah, blah, blah. And then I just wanted to get out of her way because I knew she had a million more people that needed to see her and meet her. And it was her night too. And I didn't want to just be fangirling all over her. But I know I won't do that. Like, that's
very Canadian of you.
Yeah.
Extra considerate. And then representing the country at the same time. On behalf of all of Canada,
Yeah.
we love you.
Here's a key to the city, or here's a key to Canada. So I'm
You're
sure.
welcome up here anytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what's cool about the description of her shows in at least New York, it
Mhm.
was written that the Together Again tour was a live concert, a history lesson, and a tutorial on longevity, professionalism, and audience engagement.
Mhm.
How about that?
Yeah.
She's not
Yeah.
going to
She
turn that
sold out
off.
2 nights at MSG. She sold out.
Pretty incredible.
And that's like, at 57. You know what I mean? Or she would have
Well,
been 56 and 3/4 at that point, but
she's flipping Janet Jackson though, like
yeah.
she it's no so she wouldn't even have to have anything going on other than the fact that she would be like, all right, I'm gonna go out and tour, and then she would still totally sell out.
Yeah. And you know what's real? I was funny because I was actually talking to Tina Landon about this last night. So because Busta Rhymes, they had a collaboration in 98.
Yes.
What's it gonna be? And
Hmm.
so he came out and performed it with her on the second night of the show, or second, I believe it was the second night in MSG. And it's Busta Rhymes, right? So first of all, like I don't know how tall he is, but he always looks like he's like 6'3" or 6'4". Like he's a big tall fella, right?
And a big presence and the big voice to back it up.
Big presence. And like he's also too like an OG rapper, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like he's boss, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's so cute. And Sharon, you're gonna have to go do this. If you like probably go on YouTube or whatever or on social media, just Google like Busta and Janet. And he literally turns into like a little girl when he's with her because they do the whole song. It's super like, like hardcore, and he's Mr. Posturing rapper, and they're all like dancing up on each other. And then they actually stop the show, which normally does not happen at a Janet show. Like she always powers through and wants to be on point for her fans. But I know all the fans appreciated this. He stopped the show. He gave her a big bouquet of flowers. And then he gave her a birthday cake, like a week early, whatever, but gave her a birthday cake, wished her happy birthday, wished her happy Mother's Day, called her a queen, and even said, I'm about to get emotional because I can't believe my dream came true, which is not only did we get to collaborate together, but I got to perform it with you on stage.
Wow.
So it was just so cute to see like this rapper who's like Mr. Rapper getting all like emotional and cutesy and like, it's Janet. I love you, Janet. It was like really cool.
He turned into a big pile of mush.
Yeah, yeah. Janet has that effect on basically everybody, especially big bad rappers. So
Well, think of the timeline too. If it's been 37 years since the Control album came out, and obviously longer than that since her debut into
mhm,
the record making business, 37 years.
mhm.
That's more than a generation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's so that makes her easily identifiable, very household name level ish.
Mhm.
And so going back to the fact that it's a no-brainer that she'd sell out 2 nights at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. And what I love too is like obviously, as you know, I do a lot of stuff for like Janet stuff and lots of interviews. And I can tell you on social media, it's interesting to watch like fans, let's say of our age group, and then but now she's got like 21-year-olds that are discovering her music and like falling in love and dissecting it and being like, oh my God, I can't believe like, she said this or that, and I
Yeah.
totally get it. And it's really cool to see like she has everybody. And I think, and we've talked about this before, but like everybody loves Janet. Like no
Yeah.
matter which community you belong to, like white farm girl from Canada, like I love her. And then, like big bad rapper from New York loves her, and
Yep.
basically everybody in between. And there's not many artists that can run that gamut.
I think that she, at least from her like the perspective of being a Jackson,
Mhm.
she, in her pursuit to make it on her own, I think she made herself seem accessible. Not that, everybody has a chance at chatting with her, because I think it's a pretty special thing that you did get to enjoy,
Mhm.
but she gives off that vibe that she's one of us, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny because a lot of people were weighing in on her birthday, like her dancers and people that she's on tour with now, and even people that she's worked with in the past. And to a person, it was just like she's the best boss and human ever. Like she's exactly who you think she is, like off stage and on. Like she's consistent, and she's consistently sweet and nice, which is great.
That's nice.
Yeah. I like when
Happy
they
birthday,
match what you
Janet.
you hope them to be or
Yeah,
think.
no kidding. It's
Yeah.
always risky, man.
Yeah.
I met a couple of duds.
Yeah.
And then you can't shake the dud feeling off.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I have that with a current pop star that I will not name, but yeah, like when she was grumpy with me in person. I was like, no.
Is that the one you told me about?
Yeah, at the Osheaga. Yeah.
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 Like, you know what? You're on the clock,
Yeah.
Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
You it's one of those things. If you're behind the scenes at your festival, you're still at work. Unless
Mhm.
you're in your trailer or your bus or whatever. If you're out and
Mhm.
that sounded very Canadian. If you're out,
Yeah.
if you're outside,
Yeah.
I think not that you're free range or whatever, but I think that you have to have an element of being on,
Yeah,
and
and she
it
was
can't
supposed
be
to be on because
jerkish.
she was doing an interview with me, and it was part of my 10 minutes. So
Wow. So it
so
makes it even worse.
yeah, it made it even worse, and then after that, I was just like, "Okay, I'm done, like, we're over. We're done with
Wow.
you." Like that
And we'll
so ever
never know
since
who
then
it
and
is.
pardon?
We'll
Yeah,
never
yes.
know who it is.
Yeah, exactly. Because we do still play her, which is interesting, but not as much as before, and so, the clock is probably on.
I'd love to hear you on the air
Yeah.
after having played one of their songs.
Yeah.
Just to see if the level of excitement's
Yeah.
dipped at all.
Yeah.
That's them.
Yeah.
On we go. Well, as you can hear, and for those that are watching, you can see that Adam is not with us ce soir
Yep, yep.
today, this morning, whenever it is that you are checking us out and hanging out with 90s now. But he is here in spirit and electronically, of course, with all the sound effects, because I think we should get into some trivia, Cal.
Ready.
All right.
I was waiting for you to say bing bong.
Bing bong. There we
Yeah.
go.
By the
Thank
way,
you.
shout out to Rachel in Australia because she now apparently when she's watching the show waits for and says the bing bong like she's into the bing.
It's Pavlovian.
Yeah. So this one's for you, Rachel. Bing bong. So we'll start with sport. In which year, Sharon, did the Washington Bullets become the Washington Wizards? I was off by a year when I took a guess. Yeah.
I am going to guess 99.
You were off by 2 years.
Ooh, dang.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 97.
Well, there you go.
It's funny because I didn't think it was that early. Like I know it was tail end of 90s, but I still thought it was like on that cusp of millennial action.
Living and learning with 90s now.
Yeah. This one is hobbies, toys, and games.
Sign me
In
up.
1995, Mattel began distribution of which doll named after a vegetable garden? Sharon, you know this.
99?
1995.
95.
Yeah. Sharon, you know this.
Cabbage Patch was 83. Not 83,
No,
but
but
the 80s.
that's what they said though.
Cabbage Patch?
Patch Kids. Maybe Mattel bought it from another company. I don't know.
Maybe, because it was like a wrestling match at the stores at around holiday time in the 80s. Creepy little dolls.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe Mattel bought it at that point.
Maybe.
So
Or maybe I'm
1995.
wrong. What do I know?
Yeah. Anyway, maybe these cards are wrong, Sharon. Who would know?
No one, we have just lost any level of
Credibility.
credibility,
Yeah.
but it's fine because
Yeah.
we are cuter than Cabbage Patch dolls.
Yeah. I never, what's funny is all of my friends were super into them, and I wanted to run them over with like my Tonka trucks. So
Okay, well, imagine this then, Kel.
yeah, yeah.
How old were you in 1995?
Yeah, so for sure it was way before that. So I was I was out of high school. So yeah, you're right. It was
See, all your
definitely
friends weren't playing with the Cabbage Patch
yeah,
dolls.
not in that decade. Yeah. They must have bought it then. Like
Yeah,
Mattel
you're probably right.
must have taken that over. By the way, just a short hypothesis, knowing that I would rather play with Tonka toys than Cabbage Patch Kids should have been an indicator of where I was going to be later on.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Yeah, yeah. It was foreshadowing, Sharon. Yeah.
That's funny. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the cover of Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit edition. Usually a big deal, I think, for the model that gets selected to be on the cover, but I think that the gigantic star that is making the cover this time has made it a big deal for the magazine to have her on it. Because at 81 years old, she's the oldest cover model, who also happens to be, a gigantic media mogul whose attention to detail, and home decor and cuisine and unique friendships like the one she has with Snoop Dogg. Yes, it's Martha Stewart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine that. And she looks great.
She looks great.
Yeah,
And
I
I,
feel like I
I
just said that.
yeah, I love well, it's now it's Pavlovian. I'm just repeating what you're saying, Sharon.
I'm just repeating what you're saying.
But I like too that she because in the article she talks a little bit about her training leading up to the swimsuit issue
Hmm.
photos. And I love that it was like a something, but it wasn't, she didn't kill herself.
Yeah. She just, I mean, imagine at 81 years old, she was avoiding things like the flowers and the whites that everybody's supposed to sort of jump off of every once in a while.
Mm,
But I love that she also credits her mom with good genes
yep.
because she herself was in a two-piece after a bunch of kids.
6.
6, imagine that. 6 kids.
I won't wear
Uh,
a two-piece now, and I have 0 kids, just 3 huskies.
Don't make me, every time you bring up the girl dogs, I want to say the girl dog definition. And I know you're going to get mad if I say the B word, but it's a technical term that's in the dictionary that means female dog. But I won't say it, Kel.
So I don't
I
have
won't.
to waste time editing this out.
Exactly. So a credit to the mom, the good genes, good and clean living. So
Yeah,
maybe she wasn't hanging out with Snoop
at that
before the shoot.
at that juncture, maybe not.
So congratulations to Martha Stewart for representing on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. Now, I wonder if Mrs. Sylvester Stallone ever made the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
She's
Either way.
wasn't she a model?
Oh yeah, I don't think I don't think Sylvester Stallone was finding his dates at the bank. So, yes, Jennifer Flavin was a model, pretty sure. And now the whole Stallone family, which includes 3 beautiful daughters, one of which is named Sistine.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's nothing says you're going to be a good girl like that name, you know?
We're a good girl gone bad, Sharon.
Oh yeah, it's a whole other video.
Yeah.
But Sistine and Sophia, 2 of his 3 daughters, have a podcast, and the whole idea of them doing what has them following in the footsteps of the Osbournes and the Kardashians is a reality show, the Stallones, right?
Mm.
And it's sort of rooted in the fact that these 2 daughters basically talk Stallone talk all the time, sharing some inside scoop about the family on their podcast. So basically Sylvester Stallone was like, this is it. This is what you get. What you see is what you get. And we think it's pretty funny. The whole family's been interviewed. I saw them on live with Kelly and Mark.
Oh, yeah.
I think of all the reality shows that this would be a fun one to watch. He seems to be like a nerdy dad who has them, quote poetry to him in place of like punishment. Like, no, you can't leave the table until you give me a line from this poem, and they do it. That kind of thing. So that is something to look forward to. I just don't remember what the streaming service is that's going to bring that into our homes. Is it Disney Plus? It's not Disney Plus.
I don't know. I know that his Tulsa King show is on Paramount Plus.
I think it's on that.
Okay.
I think I read that.
By the way, I watched like the first 3-4 episodes of Tulsa King.
Mhm.
Very good. Like he's good in it. And it's a good, like I just ran out of road track to be watching TV shows at this juncture, but what I saw I liked, and he's so cool. Like he's the coolest.
He's very talented. I mean, he's got the whole Rocky banner to sort of live under and be trapped under for a lot of his career, but he's a smart guy.
He paint.
I think he does everything.
Yeah.
He wrote Rocky, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that sounds right. I think he paints also. Like I think he's like a painter.
Yep.
Painter or sculptor. It's something, but I think it's painting. Yeah.
It's one of them.
If Adam was here, he could quickly check this out for us.
Remember their mother? His brother Frank was a singer. I say was, meaning I'm pretty sure he's still alive. And if Adam were here, he'd fact check that too. But their mother, was it Jackie? She was a character.
Oh, was she? Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, Google her later. She didn't she manage wrestlers?
Did
Something
she?
really, yeah, something like that. Real character, spark plug. But the thing that makes the Stallones, at least the parents, kind of like seniors, is that they're looking to spend most of their time in Florida, which we know a lot of seniors end up doing. But
Yeah.
they're actually spending most of their time there now, which is why they're selling their home.
Mhm.
So if you got, a spare $21.3 million and you're looking for I don't know, 4-bedroom home, 10,400 square foot, 8 bathrooms, pool, home theater, gym, horse barn and stables, a
Mhm.
riding area, the views are spectacular, Kel. They've got a pool house, a guest house, a koi pond, a veggie garden, 100+ avocado and citrus trees.
As you keep describing this, I've had an immaculate idea come to my attention. You
We
ready?
should buy it. Want to pool our money together and buy it?
Yeah, let's go halvesies. And if Adam is in, we can go we can distribute.
Trisies.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Cool.
thrice, like they said on the Golden Girls.
Thrice. That's what our friends in the UK would say. Thrice. Once,
Yep.
twice,
Right,
thrice a
thrice
lady.
ways, Sharon.
Thrice. Here's another fun fact that so this home, which by the images that are on the internet and available for you to ogle as well, looks like a pretty humble abode. I mean, it's
Yep.
obviously huge and whatever, but it looks pretty chill. But that I think they're doing okay money-wise because they had sold their previous home in Beverly Hills to Adele
Oh, right. Yep.
for $58 million.
And I think Adele bought something next door or across the street for her ex-husband so they could, and so yeah, she invested there.
Smart.
Yep.
Very smart. She's
And
good.
Adele said that for the amount of money she can spend in the States, it's way better than what she would be able to get in London, right? To stay in that. And
Well,
I
she
think she likes
probably
the
has to
warmer
go
weather.
back once in a while too, right? Like she
Yeah,
can't.
I'm sure she's got some sort of pied-à-terre over in
Whoa.
Londres. Yeah. Yeah.
Very fancy, Kelly.
Yeah.
Fancy.
This is what sleep deprivation looks like, Sharon.
Yeah. Look at us both.
Yeah.
They are hot.
Yeah.
Not one said about this show. They look exhausted.
Yeah.
We find that appealing.
5 stars.
5 stars. Rate us now. Rate us often.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're going to do a 90s rewind. And that'll take us right back to the heart of our favorite decade, Kel.
95?
Yeah, baby.
Love it.
You love it. And Annie Lennox was saying, no more I love yous.
Oh, she was sad.
Yeah. But so good at it, Gosh. How about Van Halen? Can't Stop Loving You.
Yep. Yep.
That, you know what? I mean, at that time, they were still with Sammy Hagar, so everything was still pretty good. May Eddie Van Halen rest in rock and peace. You got your Blues Traveler and Runaround.
That's such a great song.
And there's so many elements of that song. The harmonica. I mean, you look back on the 90s, you're not thinking, man, harmonica solos were the thing. But he's good. TLC's Creep was super sexy, obviously. Melissa Etheridge, interesting. If I Wanted To was B-sided with Like the Way I Do. Melissa Etheridge, I think, did very well as soon as she happened upon our ears in the later 80s. And then into the 90s, she just sort of sashayed her into her own. That's what it felt like anyways. And then let's wrap it up with some Hootie and the Blowfish, Kel.
Hootie, love them.
Hootie and the Blowfish and
So many, it was like 5 or 6
Hound
songs off that album. It was like 5 or there was like at least 5 singles, right? That just went bananas for them. It was a lot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a big time for them. So Hold My Hand was certainly one of them, but I see just on my list that I left a little extra just because if I've seen it and I can tell you it's been in my head for a little while now, I should not be alone in that. So I will leave you with the idea of Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Rednecks with an X.
Yeah.
It's like the precursor to Baby Shark.
Yeah.
Baby, Cotton Eye Joe, do. And that's your 90s rewind.
Good job, Sharon. Good.
Thank you.
Job.
Thank you very much.
We have a mailbag question from our longest time listener, Kentucky Shane,
Shane.
also known as Shane from Kentucky, who now has a back and forth with Rachel on our YouTube channel. So we love when
Fun.
fans from different parts of the world start communicating, and I know Caroline is in that as well. So Shane's question was, in your opinion, Sharon and mine, who is the most underrated artist from the 90s? Shane says on his end that he says Brian McKnight and Babyface from the R&B front. He thought you might be able to give some sort of band name, maybe.
Well, I'm interested in how Babyface is underrated because I think he got a lot of attention and he's very talented.
Mm.
Brian McKnight, though, oh my gosh, I am 100% on board with you too, even though I'm pretty sure he got a good amount of attention, but just the voice on that guy. And fun fact, Shane, Brian McKnight's brother, Claude, is a member of Take Six. I think that's his name. So the musical juice runs in the family.
Yep. I would go with Maya.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, like she had stuff, but never like she's still around and people love her, and she had like stuff, but she never, I think, like I don't think she often gets placed where she could, even though she was in like Lady Marmalade, and you know what I mean? Like
it's true. She really sort of she was strong in that. She was strong in Ghetto Superstar, right?
yeah, I think that's her. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like she put herself in the right spots
Mhm.
and maybe was overshadowed by
By Aaliyah, maybe.
Ooh.
But not in you know what I mean? Like not obviously from Aaliyah's point or whatever, but I don't know if because there was like a similarity. And I'm sure like you knew how much Aaliyah was just, it was like Aaliyah be all end all for many people, right?
Well, I think that was the thing. I think when you think of the business side of things, that record companies don't want to splinter their attention on, hey, we can, promote everybody. I think they want, to have one person or band to focus on and then like sub existences, which is too bad because as we know now, where we are in the world, where we can get our music and our information and our podcasts, thank you very much. There's room for everybody. You don't have to like just one person over the other. You don't have to buy into the faux competition of it all. Like we're allowed to like more than one.
Yeah. And I think Ashanti also in there, depending
Yeah.
how you look at things. And my other guess or my other opinion would be Michelle Ndegeocello.
Ooh, yeah. She's good. Yeah, good one.
Serious talent. Her and Tracy Chapman.
Yeah. Underrated though. I'm trying to get my head around the idea of an artist that was underrated.
Do you have a band that you think? Because that's what Shane's looking for from the Queen of Rock. I believe he actually wrote Queen of Rock. So
oh my goodness. My gosh. You think of bands
Sharon
like
was extreme.
I think Extreme could be underrated.
Yep.
Actually, they actually are just about to release another album. I don't remember the date on it.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good.
And like straight ahead, grab you by the collar, sort of let's do this kind of rock and roll. Yes. Underrated though. Shane, put me on the spot much. Jeez.
You ponder this for next week's show?
I'm gonna ponder this for next week's show because I'm gonna get back to you, Shane.
All right. Sharon, it's always lovely to hang out with you. We miss Adam. We love him. He'll be back with us at some juncture.
Yeah. He'll be back. And we'll be back.
Scheduling snafus.
And thanks for filling our mailbag with fun and challenging questions. Keep those coming. Thank you to Rachel for the feedback. Also appreciate that. And thank you everybody for finding us wherever it is that you do that. We appreciate it. Obviously, like we mentioned before, you find your music everywhere. You find your podcasts everywhere. We're happy that you landed with us at any point and then decided to come back. We appreciate it very much. So thank you for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.